Hi, y'all. Here's the story I'm going to read today. Now, my grandchildren, they were part of it while I was videoing it, and we just did it as it was. It's reality. I'm not editing anything out. So I hope y'all enjoy it, and just remember, they're just little kids, and kids are kids, aren't they? Enjoy the book. Hi, everyone. I'm here today to read you a book called Leave It to Beaver. It's an old book. I got this in an antique store. So we have one crying today, but that's okay. So I have some of my grandchildren here sitting next to me. And let me see if I can move this just a little bit. So we'll get started. I guess we just had one escape. Leave It to Beaver. Maybe some of you have watched this old show.
Oh, I watched this.
You've watched this? Have you ever watched Leave It to Beaver? No? Okay, well, some people have. I used to watch it when I was a little girl.
I watched it when I watched it.
Let me move that pillow so I can get comfortable. Okay, let's go ahead and begin. So here's the picture again of the beginning. Beaver Cleaver was the busiest boy in town. He was busy from sun up to sundown, but somehow he always found time to get in trouble.
Go down.
Do you ever get in trouble?
Go down.
No, you don't. Well, you're a good kid then, aren't you? No question about it. If there's trouble to be found, Beaver will find it, was what his brother Wally would say. Let me fix you. You look just a little bit crooked there. Okay, there's Beaver and his brother Wally.
No. Oh, man, this is amazing.
One day, a large crate arrived at the Cleaver house. Inside the crate was a dog, and strange to say, his name was Trouble. Mr. Cleaver read the letter that came with the dog. I was unexpectedly called to San Francisco on business. Please take care of Trouble while I am gone. It'll only be a few days. Love, Uncle Conrad. Just who is going to take care of this dog? Asked Mrs. Cleaver. I'm much too busy. So am I, said Mr. Cleaver. And so am I, said Wally. I will, said Beaver. Would y'all take care of the dog?
We don't have those. We don't take care of dogs.
Everyone looked at Beaver. They weren't sure he was able to take care of a dog. But since no one else wanted Trouble, they decided Beaver could have him. And so that night, when Beaver went to sleep, Trouble slept at the foot of his bed. During the night, Trouble chewed one of Beaver's slippers to pieces. Bright and early the next day, Trouble began barking and woke up Beaver. Beaver yawned and looked out the window. A stranger was climbing into the house next door. Quickly, Beaver called the police. But when the police came, it turned out the man was a new neighbor who had just moved in. He had forgotten his keys. Beaver, said Mrs. Cleaver, I have a suggestion to make. Why not take Trouble for a walk? Oh. Yeah. So Beaver took Trouble for a walk. As they passed the firehouse, Trouble barked loudly, and the fire chief came out. Where did you get the fire dog? The fire chief said. Is Trouble a fire dog? Asked Beaver. He sure is, said the fire chief. He's a Dalmatian, and they're real sad beavers. I don't think he's happy, is he? He didn't have a good name. Here, let me show you, said the fire chief.
Are you happy?
Yeah, well, I'm talking about your brother. He's over there crying. What kind of dog is that?
A Dalmatian dog.
A Dalmatian, that's right.
I already watched that kind of show with them.
You did? You watched 101 Dalmatians? On the wall of the firehouse was a picture of an old-time fire engine pulled by horses, and running after the horses was a Dalmatian dog, just like Trouble. "Come again sometime," said the fire chief. "We're always glad to see boys and fire dogs." "I will," said Beaver. Like they can't see the pictures if you get in front of them. You want all the little boys and girls out there to see the pictures, don't you?
Oh, this is
That night, Beaver told his family about his visit to the firehouse. "You know, Dad," said Beaver, "since Trouble's a fire dog, may I take him to the fire sometime?" "You certainly may not," said Mr. Cleaver. "Fires are much too dangerous. Is that understood?" "Well, come here, baby." "Yes, sir," said Beaver a little sadly. The next day, Beaver and Trouble followed Wally to the baseball game at Smith's vacant lot. No sooner had the game begun when Trouble scampered away with the ball. When they finally caught Trouble, Wally said, "I have a suggestion. Why don't you take Trouble for a walk, Beaver?" Everybody's telling him to take the poor dog for a walk, aren't they? You want to sit in my lap? Okay. Yeah, I showed you the picture. Beaver took Trouble for another walk by the old warehouse. Suddenly, Trouble started sniffing. Then he jumped up and licked the face of the old watchman, dozing in the sunshine outside the building. The watchman landed with a bump on the pavement. He shook his fist angrily at Beaver, but a second later, the watchman's anger vanished as he saw Trouble sniffing the air. "Your dog smells smoke," the watchman said, "and so do I." Hey, y'all see the picture? "Come on," said Beaver to Trouble.
This is how you make videos?
Yeah. They ran down to the firehouse at the other end of the street. Beaver rushed up to the fire chief and told him about the burning warehouse. In no time at all, firemen came sliding down the brass pole. Quickly, they put on their slickers, rubber boots, and fire hats. Then they jumped onto the fire engine. Ooh, would y'all like to do that?
Never been on a fire.
You wouldn't want to do that?
Never
Liam, man. Liam. Over here, honey. The people can't see. The other little children want to see the book too, okay? No, now. Leave it alone. With bell clanging and siren blowing, the fire engine roared out of the firehouse, down the street toward the fire. Trouble was barking furiously and tugging at his leash. Beaver said, "I wish we could go to the fire, but a promise is a promise." "Would you go anyway, even after your daddy told you you better not go?" "No, that'd be what? That'd be disobeying, wouldn't it? Would you go after you were told not to go?" Good. Suddenly, Beaver yanked the leash out of Beaver's hand and dashed after the fire engine. The next second, Beaver was tearing after him. "Dad won't like this," panted Beaver. Flames were leaping up and burning the old warehouse as the firemen unrolled the fire hose. Oh, I forgot to show y'all that picture. I am so sorry. Okay, here we go. Flames were leaping up and burning the old warehouse as the firemen unrolled the fire hose. As Beaver ran after Trouble, he bumped into a policeman blocking his path. "That's my dog. Uncle Conrad's dog," said Beaver. "I don't care whose dog it is," said the policeman. "Stand back, son." But when Trouble got tangled in the fire hose, the fire chief spoke to the policeman and the policeman spoke to Beaver. "Call off your dog," said the fireman. "The fire chief says he's getting in the way." Well, there we go, see? Almost forgot to show y'all the pictures again. Yeah, I know, I'm silly, huh?
I am.
While the firemen were busy spraying water on the blazing warehouse, Beaver ran around in circles trying to grab Trouble's leash. By the time Beaver caught Trouble, the fire was out and Trouble was covered with soot and dirt. What am I going to tell Dad? Wondered Beaver. When Beaver got home, no one was in sight. Quietly, he took Trouble into the house by the back door. Quietly, they went up the stairs to the bathroom. Then Beaver gave Trouble a bath. He scrubbed him hard with a brush and plenty of soap. A minute later, he heard his mother's voice. Beaver, will you please come downstairs? Uh-oh, what do you think Beaver's going to do?
Tell him what happened.
Tell him what happened. What do you think he's going to do?
Hey, what's gonna happen?
Okay. Beaver's mother, father, and brother Wally were in the living room. Someone else was there too, the fire chief. Well, Beaver, said the fire chief, I've been telling your family about your good work in reporting the fire. He shook hands with Beaver. Are you going to be a fireman when you grow up? No, sir, said Beaver. I'm not allowed to go to fires. After the fire chief left, Beaver went out to play with Trouble. You know, said Mr. Cleaver, I think Beaver is growing up. Maybe he won't be getting into so much trouble anymore. Maybe, said Mrs. Cleaver. But right now, he and the dog are digging up the beans you planted the other day. Uh-oh, that's not good, is it? When you plant something, you're not supposed to dig it up right away. My beans, said Mr. Cleaver, and he dashed out of the house. Leave it to Beaver, Mrs. Cleaver sighed. Okay, boys and girls, that's all of that story. Hopefully I'll be back soon with another story, okay?
Like this.
So we'll talk to you later. Tell all the kids bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Maybe it might be this one.
Yeah, maybe she can read that to you one day. Okay, bye-bye.